With a career spanning more than 5 decades, few actors are more qualified to recount the glamorous Hollywood era of the 40s and the 50s than Robert Wagner. You must remember this is his look at the life and style during Hollywood's golden age. And Robert Wagner, we welcome you to Talk of the Town. How you doing today?
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. I appreciate it very much.
Hey, how long have you been thinking about doing this book? Because I know with your career and the span of your career in movies and television, there are a lot of great memories that you have. So how long have you been thinking about doing this book?
Well, I started thinking about doing it because, Leland, I'm asked frequently by younger people who I'm around a great deal what it was like. What was the Hollywood system? What was the studio system like? What was Hollywood like? What were those places? How was that? So I started to explain it to them, and I thought, you know, it might be interesting to take a look at this and investigate this. Scott Eyman, who co-authored the book with me, we wrote another book together, and we started to take a look at it and look back at that time, and Leland, it was gone. It had gone. The restaurants, the haberdashers, the houses, and a lot of those wonderful people who made the golden era. So I thought, let's maybe, if I could, it was the most thrilling time in my life. So I thought if I could put that down with Scott and make it interesting and share those feelings with the reader, it could work. And so that's what we did. The book was just released, you know, yesterday, and so I've had some interesting comments about it. People are interested in that era, you know, they think it's great, and I was fortunate enough to be able to get the last part of it, so I wanted to share it with people because it was a thrilling time, thrilling.
Yeah, now things have changed so much from the early days of Hollywood to today, especially with the paparazzi out there. How I guess, does that change the business? And for you, I know that's a big difference seeing what happens now versus what went on back then, especially because I'm assuming the studio and studios were much more protective then.
You're absolutely correct. That's absolutely right. We were protected. We didn't have that. Today, you know, I don't get bombarded like that because, you know, I'm not that visible. But I mean, George Clooney or Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. I mean, people like that, Julia Roberts. I mean, it's very difficult to go out of your house without being bombarded by these people. And what is the reason for that? They get money for the shot. If they find somebody in a compromising position, or you know, they push into their children. They do, you know. I mean, look at Alec Baldwin. I mean, he's had a rough time with that, and they goad you, you know. And if you make a move, they can publicize that, take it on a run, publicize it, and as an individual, you really can't do anything about it because the laws are such that you're free game. That was never with us when we started.
Hey, let me get one more question in here. And I was a huge fan of Heart to Heart on television, and as we mentioned, you've TV and movies. It's been great here seeing you back on TV, especially on some of the CBS shows here on News Channel 5, like 2.5 Men and NCIS. How is it like getting back into the mix with some of the stars of today?
Oh, great. Great. Well, I just did NCIS. It was on last week, I think. I love doing that show. They're absolutely wonderful people. Mark Harmon is such a great man, and he and Michael Weatherly, that company has been going for 12 years. Most of the people have been there for that length of time. The loyalty is something that is tremendous, and they all care for each other. They love each other, have great respect for one another. They go to the studio when they're not called, when they're not working, and it's a fantastic experience. One of the nicest companies, if not the nicest company I have ever worked for. What a thing for me to be able to have that in my life at this time. The last thing that I did was that, and they're just so great. You know,
cool.
It's a wonderful.
Well,
it's like the old days, you know. That's
Well, we love seeing you on those shows. Good to see you again, and we look forward to reading the book.
Thank
but
you.
we thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you enjoy it.
The new book, You Must Remember This, is available now.